Mobile Industry Review, Mobile Developer TV.
So I'm Tasso Roumeliotis. I'm the founder and CEO of WaveMarket. WaveMarket is a location-based services platform company. There's a couple of things that we do. First, we offer a solution that takes location and provides it for operators to be able to offer a service that allows them to build family locator services where they can offer to end users services that allow parents to see where their children are. Very much in line with what location provides, which is a safety mechanism and really branded by the carriers. That's the first thing we do. The second thing, which we think is very important, very strategic in the long run, is a platform that we call VeriPlace, whose main goal it is to bring location effectively away from how it's being monetized right now directly from smartphones to wireless operators, bringing them into the monetization chain, taking advantage of the fact they can locate every phone, which smartphones don't have that capability. And so I've always been interested in wireless. I'd worked at Bain & Company in the telecom practice, always passionate where wireless were all our customers. And then in 2001, I took the opportunity to start WaveMarket. I found a great technology team. We moved down to California, and we've been working in location-based services since. It was a very, what I'd call, classic business school analysis to get us into location. We were very high on wireless was the first passion. We really love wireless. We said, if you're going to build something in wireless, what is a differentiator of wireless? Where are you going to go with wireless where there will always be that kind of advantage over what was happening kind of online with the Yahoos and that? So we said it was location. So we focused the platform, the concept on that. It was wilderness years, absolutely. It was way too early in terms of location. The first deals we did were actually in places like Korea and Japan, while 911 and those systems and those services worked themselves out in the United States, and then we've rolled it in. And in the last 3-4 years, it's really exploded here. We're really happy with the status of where it is in the United States. There were two events, I would say. The first one is when the CDMA carriers in the United States, which had inherent GPS on every single phone, launched the first batch of location-based services. Navigation, there was a great uptake of some of these services. There were very few services launched, but it showed the potential and it started to educate the market about location. Then the obvious next one was the launch of the iPhone and their introduction to location, because then it exploded for different kinds of services. So two key, I think, landmark events.
At what point did you think this company is going somewhere? I've got something.
In 2001, at least I say that to myself now. It was we always felt there was always, I would say, even in those earlier years, and this is reflecting the fact that our venture capitalists have been with us from the beginning and have supported us throughout the whole way, that once location was going to be exposed and used, that the potential was there. So it was really about making sure that you're developing technologies, doing the right kinds of business development and productization, that when it does explode in bigger markets like North America, that we were there to do it. So we always felt that there was asset value that we were building, but it really did take North America opening up and for us to really become an entity, which we are right now, which is very, very revenue, lots of revenue and all that stuff.
Then, so from the growth of the company, then, was it really focused internationally for quite a while?
Yeah, we did. I'll tell you what we did. We went to, when the U.S. operators pretty much said, I'm stuck with 911 for the next 2 years, we focused on Asia, particularly Japan and Korea. And Korea is where we landed our first deals with SK Telecom. And we definitely took a look at the European market because European operators had done the good thing of having location. They built these cell ID networks and they were able to offer services. Part of the thing that happened that we saw, and it has a little bit of a legacy, I would say, now with the European carriers that we discussed, is they had location. It was very imprecise location. It had a high cost of goods sold in their infrastructure, so they had to charge a lot for it. And the media mechanism to use location was a little bit of SMS, but WAP, which at the time in 2003 was not a fun experience. So I think the operators got a little bit jaded by the lack of success in what was happening, and there are determining factors. Now we're in a completely new world. And I think what's happened is here in the United States, GSM carriers like AT&T AT&T are doing phenomenally well. I mean, they're arguably leading location carriers right now. If you walk into an AT&T store, I think 8 out of 10 stores right now have supple GPS, and they're doing this because they're big believers in this. So what we've done is we've worked very hard to work with GSM carriers and all kinds of carriers to bring location and allow them to monetize it. We've been a big success here, and I think the European operators, we've seen some positive views of location, but there are issues with what's going on with smartphones that we think they need to be responsive of. They need to be doing similar kinds of things that the North American operators are doing. And I can guarantee you, North American operators will be at the core and hub of the monetization of that kernel of information that's important in mobile, which is location.
Can you give us an idea? What was the first product that you sold to SK Telecom?
It was exactly sure. Very interesting stuff. We're talking 2003, 2004. We enabled these geofence or alert-based services using location with SK Telecom. So, in 2004, there were Koreans, in Seoul walking around and getting buzzed when they were near friends, right? But also, there were alerts when there was a dating profile that matched. Or, when you walk by, a particular mall which had, deal on shoes that you had signed up for. So they'd taken this platform, this location platform, and built some stuff, 6 years before we're even seeing it here. So that was a great benefit to us because it allowed us to really invest in what was, with some very, futuristic but hard stuff to do in location.
Almost Minority Report style.
Location does have, immense power, that's for sure. But the good thing is where we've invested very heavily is on the privacy management. So we think that's a big missing link right now in location-based services. If you look at the ability to download a product like Google Latitude on a BlackBerry, the kind of power that yields, but also the privacy concerns. So, for example, I walk out of the room, I leave my BlackBerry on the table. You grab it, download Latitude, get it, sign up for a continuous feed of my location, hide the app. It does not take a UI genius to figure it out to figure that out. Anybody can do it. So what happens, right? Well, those kinds of scenarios need to be solved. Why isn't that user being sent a message saying, do you know this application is tracking you in the background, right? There was a recent announcement by Apple saying, we're not going to allow location-based advertising. It's to avoid these kinds of things. We saw this a while ago. In all of our offerings, we have very rich privacy management. So we offer the ability, and we're doing this with, we signed up Sprint, we signed up AT&T, we have some other mega tier 1 announcements coming up in the coming months, and it's really about taking location and giving the end user a chance and the ability to have full transparency, what apps can see them, turn them on or off, right? Be able to say, with one click, delete my history like I would cookies. And this is a tool, a product, a value added that an operator can give to their end users to give them comfort. That's one area where we think that the wireless carriers have an immense advantage. Mm-hmm. The other area I'll say is carriers can locate every phone. So if you think about the ubiquity of that, and you think about how that impacts the key markets that everyone talks about location. Everyone talks about location, talk about advertising or marketing. Okay, great. Talk about social networking. Great. Those are, network-based services in that if you're going to launch a social network, right? If I can only have location participation of 5% of my network, because those are the only folks that have smartphones or have Android phones, for example, you don't get to capture the network effect. Okay, so this is a key strategic thing that we're working on with our U.S. carriers, which is how do we bring foster startups to do social, location social network with privacy protection, right? And if you look at advertising, where we think it's going to be, obviously the core part of monetization, you speak to any ad agency or any advertiser or any retailer who would be effectively the main, users of location-based advertising, and they all tell you, until you can locate 75 or some mass scale percentage of the phones, everything else is just a trial. Okay, so you have that power. It's sitting right there in front of you. And what we're looking to do is bring what we've done into the United States, to the European operators in the European markets.
Mobile Industry Review, Mobile Developer TV.